Jamie, and I'm here on behalf of SeaWorld's Education and Conservation Department. Welcome to Shamu Stadium, our 5.8 million gallon killer whale habitat. In this presentation, we will be sharing with you some fascinating facts about our killer whales. You will also have the opportunity to learn how we train and take care of such incredible animals. Shamu came to SeaWorld nearly 50 years ago, and the entire killer whale family continues to be the inspiration behind SeaWorld's mission to celebrate, connect with, and care for the natural world. With their distinctive black and white coloration and distribution throughout the world's oceans, killer whales are one of the most successful and recognizable animals in the sea. And now I'd like to introduce one of our very own killer whale trainers, Autumn.
Thank you, Jamie. How are y'all doing today? Woo! Great, we love the excitement. All right, welcome to Shamu Stadium. Now, as Jamie said, we are continuously amazed by these beautiful and intelligent animals. I personally have been a trainer here at SeaWorld San Diego for about 8 years, and I'm so happy to build a relationship with these amazing whales. Now today I'd like to share that relationship with all of you. We would like to introduce you to Orkid and Kalia. Orkid was our very first baby Shamu. She was born back in 1988. She is about 19 feet long and about 6,000 pounds. Now over here we have Kalia. She lives here with her mom, Kasaka, who is our dominant female, her brother Makani, and her brother Nakai. Kalia is 10 years old, and the really cool thing about her, she's actually pregnant with her very own calf right now. Now I'm just going to talk a little bit about killer whales and some of their general characteristics. As you can see, killer whales are a dark black coloration on their back. They have that really light white belly. This is called counter shading. What this does is it helps them blend in with their surroundings. So when these animals are out hunting in the ocean, they can really blend in and keep their bodies conformed with their surroundings so they can sneak up on that prey. Now on their backs, killer whales have what we call a dorsal fin. Their dorsal fin is all made of dense fibrous connective tissue, very similar to cartilage and collagen, the kind of stuff that's in our nose and in our ears. So there is no bone structure there in that dorsal fin. It's all that fibrous connective tissue. So one of the main questions we get asked is, why do some killer whales have a bent over dorsal fin? The simple reason for that is there is no bone to keep it upright, no rigidity. Now it also depends a little bit on the animal's activity level. If an animal is a super active whale and that is their personality, they're going to constantly be swimming and having the pressure of the water pushing up on that dorsal fin. If an animal's personality is a little bit more docile and they're just more hanging out on the side of the pool, then that might have a tendency to heat that material up and it might curve one way or the other. And if it does start to curve, gravity will eventually pull that material down as it breaks down. Now on each side of their bodies, they do have arm-like appendages. These appendages are called pectoral flippers. In those flippers, they have 5 bones, very similar to what we have in our hands. So they'll use these flippers to steer, to turn right, to turn left, or to help themselves stop in the water. Very nice. Now on each side of their face, killer whales do have 2 eyes. They can see extremely well both inside and outside of the water. And you will see this white eye patch on each side of their eye. Those eye patches, along with the saddle patches on the back of their dorsal fin, help them be able to coordinate with each other while hunting in packs. Now killer whales are one of the most fastest marine mammals in the ocean. They can reach top speeds of about 30 miles per hour. Let's watch, ladies and gentlemen.
There are at least 10 different ecotypes or forms of killer whales that you can currently find swimming through the ocean. And while they're all currently considered a single species and recognizable as killer whales, ecotypes vary in many things like size, other physical features, pod size, diet, and hunting strategies. For example, some killer whales will actually herd fish into a tight ball up at the surface and use their tail flukes to stun their prey. Killer whales in the Antarctic have been seen washing seals off ice floes. They swim fast side by side and dive below the floe at the last second, creating a powerful wave. Some killer whales will even slide up onto beaches and sandbars to hunt seals and sea lions. This combination of physical adaptations and cooperative behavior or teamwork make killer whales successful hunters in the sea. Inside their mouths are over 40 interlocking cone-shaped teeth used for grasping their food and swallowing it whole. Here at SeaWorld, each individual killer whale can eat between 100 and 200 pounds of restaurant-quality fish every single day. But it takes more than an excellent diet to keep our whales healthy. Here at SeaWorld, we've been caring for killer whales for nearly 50 years, and we have learned a lot, including what amount of daily care is necessary to make sure our whales stay in good health. Preventative care is a key component. How many of you have ever been to the doctors before? Of course, and our animals get big, regular checkups every single day, just like the checkups you all get. This is called our husbandry training. And for our animals, we actually can do the same training.
Animal training techniques help veterinarians and trainers perform medical examinations more easily. Training the animals to do husbandry behaviors allows us to gather medical history information, helping us to provide top quality animal care. An important component is to train all our animals to calmly accept routine medical procedures, like taking measurements and weights. Routine measurements allow us to determine actual growth rates for an animal, information that is nearly impossible to obtain in the wild. The whales also exhale on cue, and from that we can get blowhole samples to be cultured. We're also able to examine the whale's teeth and perform dental work if needed. Because of successful training techniques, the whales even give us a urine sample when signaled to do so. And we can calmly take blood samples from the tail flukes, since the veins are so close to the surface of the skin and easy to see. Delicate procedures also are possible, such as taking x-rays and obtaining sonogram data. By routinely conducting husbandry procedures, we can establish healthy baseline data for each animal, and then we can use the baseline data to more easily diagnose and treat illnesses. Plus, we can share this information with other professionals involved in caring for the same species, as we all strive towards the same mission of protecting and preserving these amazing animals.
Sir.
And now here's Autumn to explain a little bit more.
Alright guys, as the video said, we do take very special care of our animals and we train these husbandry behaviors very carefully. So how many of you out there have ever gone to the doctor and had to get your finger pricked to give a little blood? Pretty much everybody, right? Well, we take routine bloods on our killer whales as well to make sure that they are very healthy. So I'm going to talk a little bit about how we train that voluntary fluke blood behavior. So what we can do is we ask the animals a very simple lineup right in front of us. We'll train this lineup first. We have their tail flukes. We're able to hold their tail flukes, and eventually we can approximate having a second person come in next to the trainers. Now once we have this second person come in, we can touch their tail, get them used to that tactile feeling for a vein, and eventually we can even have a veterinarian come in and touch the animals and be close to them and near them. We're constantly reinforcing these behaviors all throughout. Once the animals get very comfortable with this, the vets can stick their vein with a little needle, draw a sample of blood, and we're able to take a good checkup on them and make sure that everything is functioning correctly. Great job, Keet!
We have learned a lot about killer whales by working with them here at SeaWorld and collaborating with scientists on research studies. Yet much remains to be discovered and understood. By learning about our whales here, we can gain a better understanding and care for animals both in our parks and out in the wild. For example, like most of the ocean's marine mammals, killer whales have developed complex sounds that they use to explore their world and communicate with each other. They produce these sounds through their blowhole. More than 12 years of research has been done right here at Shamu Stadium on killer whale vocal development. This stadium is equipped with underwater microphones called hydrophones. These hydrophones allow us to know which whale is making the sound and which specific call the whale is making. Through this research, we have found that killer whale vocal development is very similar to human language development. Whale calves start out making cries, then they move on to babbling, and then they imitate the adults.
Now something really amazing is we've been able to train these killer whales to make these vocalizations outside of the water so that all of you can hear. Let's listen. And our personal favorite.
You just heard how our whales use vocalization to communicate with each other, but how do we communicate with them? Animal training is a long process that involves many different steps. A very important part of training is spending time with the whales every day and building a strong relationship. How many of you like to spend time with your friends? Of course, by spending time with our friends, we get to know them a little bit better. And our trainers do the same thing with our whales by creating training sessions that are interesting, stimulating, and a whole lot of fun. And now here's one of our trainers, Missy, to tell you a little bit more.
Thank you, Jamie, and hello, everyone. Today we're going to give you a look at one of our training sessions. We have many different types of training sessions, and we actually have an acronym for these to help us remember each individual one. It's called helpers. So if you take a look up on the screen, it describes each one, or it lists each one. The first one is husbandry, which we already talked about. All those behaviors to maintain the health and well-being of our animals. Exercise, pretty self-explanatory. How many of you exercise? Maybe go to the gym, go for a run, play at recess? Yeah, so actually we do the same thing with the animals. We'll run through a lot of their high energy behaviors at a very fast pace to get their heart rate going, breathing a little bit heavier. It's very important for their health to be in the top most physical condition. Now learning might be when we're training a new behavior, a brand new behavior, or maybe if you're a new trainer coming over here to work with the killer whales, you're actually learning how to interact with the killer whales. Playtimes, how many of you like to play? Guess what? So do the whales. We actually have big, huge toys. We call them environmental enrichment devices that the killer whales actually enjoy playing with. Also, relationship sessions, very similar to kind of what you're seeing the trainers do right now, just hanging out with the animals, letting them know that we appreciate them, and giving them a chance to just spend time watching us and enjoying us. And also, of course, our shows. So today, all of you are going to get to see a training session. Everything we do with the animals is based on our relationship and also positive reinforcement. We're drawing attention to correct behavior and drawing the least amount of attention to incorrect or undesirable behavior. Now, what do you think we give animals when they do a good job? Fish, yes, but guess what? We also use a lot of different types of rewards. So you may see the trainers giving them ice, snow, jello, even a nice rub down. They're very sensitive to touch. So look for all different types of rewards during this session. Now you're going to use us here the whistle. Now this is how we communicate to the animals that they've done the correct behavior. So when you hear that whistle, you know that the animal is right, and we want to hear you guys cheer really loud for them because they can actually feed off that energy. They can hear you guys. Now also you're going to see a target pole that Michelle and Connor are both holding. These are very important training tools. There's a bead on the end that the animals are trained to touch at a very young age with their face or their flippers or sometimes even their tail flukes. This is how we shape all of the behaviors. It starts with very small steps until you see those big, huge, beautiful behaviors. All right, so it looks like today we're going to do a training session with Keet. And this is called a mouth open fast swim. Now this is actually 2 behaviors at the same time, which is pretty amazing for these animals to do. So the fast swim is just going to be a fast swim around the pool, but we want him to have his mouth open. So that signal was given from Andre on stage. Here comes Keet. He's about 7,000 pounds. He's an adult male. He's 21 years old. And here he comes. All right, so that was pretty good. You heard Michelle blow her whistle. So you're going to see that reward offered right now. Looks like he's going to get some fish. So what we're looking for in this behavior is for a lot of speed. Keet is not always our fastest moving animal, just like people. All the whales are very different. So we're really encouraging him to pick up that pace with those target pulls. So not only can we shape the behavior with those target pulls, but that's also used for encouragement. So here he comes. Come on, Keet. All right, so you didn't hear that whistle that time. So here's a good opportunity for all of you to see what we do when the animals do something incorrect or maybe make a mistake or not quite up to criteria. Watch closely or you'll miss it. There it is. 3-second pause with eye contact. We call it the least reinforcing scenario. And all we're looking for is a nice, calm, positive attitude. Even after failure or after a mistake, they still have an opportunity for a reward. That's how we train. It's all a part of the learning process. It's okay to make a mistake. It's okay to fail. We've all done it before, right? All right, so it looks like we're going to try it again. So all we're looking for is just a little bit more energy from him. Here he comes. And he might need to hear you for that encouragement. Oh, that was awesome! Great job, Keet. So that was a great look at how you can go from them not hearing that whistle, they're knowing that's not exactly correct, and him making that slight little change, and he heard that whistle and he's getting that reward. So the shows that you see later on are actually just another variation of a type of session that we do with the animals. The animals may do some really spectacular aerial behaviors, maybe some splashing behaviors. We might add lights, videos on the screens, music, fountains, but really the shows are just another way for us to have fun with the whales, and the whales have fun with us, and of course for all of us to be able to share these incredible animals with all of you.
Killer whales are found throughout the world, yet their ocean homes face many threats. Just like us, killer whales need a reliable source of food to survive. If you eat seafood or someone you know does, you can help protect wild populations of killer whales by choosing sustainable seafood. This ensures that both the seafood and the killer whales are around for future generations. Thank you all for joining us today. We hope your educational experience here at SeaWorld will inspire you to celebrate and conserve our natural world. If you have any more questions about these amazing animals, make sure you stop by and talk to some of our trainers. And from all of us here at Shamu Stadium, goodbye and have a great rest of your day.